All right, guys, let's get started. So, welcome to the webinar. Today, we're going to look at Bluebeam Review Studio Projects. My name's Alex Butcher, Sales and Technical Consultant at Advanced Spatial Technologies. My email's just alex@advancedspatial.com.au. If anyone has any questions, feel free to shoot them through after. If I could just ask as well, if everyone could keep their microphones muted through here. At the end, we'll give everyone a chance to answer some questions, ask some questions. If you want to unmute yourself then, no problem. Just as we go through, it'd be great though if everyone could stay muted. So just a little bit on AST. We're a software, hardware, professional services provider. So just some of the products that we do, you'll see on the screen: Bluebeam, Autodesk, FM Systems, GoFMX, Veeam Backup Software, and Dropbox for Business. Hardware, partnered with Dell, HP, Lenovo, and Apple. And our professional services division is the CAD West Bureau. So they do drafting, some support, and sort of managed services as well. If you ever need any help with Bluebeam, feel free to reach out to me, alex@advancedspatial.com.au. Give us a call, 1300 672 888. You can also find it in the help menu in the software, just help and then help. And then there's also the review tutorials. So today, basically, we're just going to go through what are studio projects, the features that are inside the projects, and then we're going to do a bit of a live demonstration. And then at the end, we'll just give everyone a chance to answer some questions as well. So what are studio projects? Basically, it's a lightweight document management platform. It's cloud-based. Servers are hosted all over the world, including one locally in Australia that was launched late last year. There's servers in the US, UK, Australia, Germany, and Sweden now. Basically, it's really good for managing project documents between project partners. Cool. So the features of Studio Projects: got unlimited attendees. You can set up folder structures for your project. You can set permissions for attendees. You can check in and check out files. We've got revision control and history. You can upload files in any file format. It doesn't just have to be PDFs. We get notifications about file and user activity. And the good thing about it is not all attendees need a license for review. They can have basically just a trial version, or could just be in view mode if their trial has expired as well. So yeah, you don't actually just need a paid copy of review to access Studio Projects. All right, so we're going to jump over and do a bit of a live demonstration. Firstly, we're just going to go over how to set up a project. So we're in the studio window here. The little icon looks like a house with a door on it. Basically, to set up a project, there's a little plus button here next to where it says All Projects, and we just hit this and go New Project. And I'm just going to call this one for today, Airport Expansion Project. So you can title it whatever you want, however you guys decide to name it. Usually people would name it by what the project is to make it easy to sort through and find your documents. You'll see there's two tabs here as well. We've got joined and not joined. So what appears in joined will be projects that you've actually joined. If you're in not joined, you would have been invited to that project, but you wouldn't have actually joined it yet. So if you there's a couple of different ways to join a project. The project owner can invite you in, or you can join it through the little join button. So you hit that plus again, and there's a join button, and all you would need is that project ID, which is the 9-digit number just here, to join in. If anyone's clicking along as we go, feel free to join into the project. You can have a look at the different features as we go through them today. So yeah, to invite users, it's quite simple. We just hit this little on the left-hand side here. We've got the project controls. So we've got this little button, looks like a person with a plus. We hit that to invite users. And there's a few different ways. We can type or paste emails. You can use an address book. For that, you just need Outlook to be set up as an address book. Or you can add emails from groups as well if you've previously set up groups. Today, I'm just going to go and type in some email. So let's say invite Ty in. Oop, cool. Maybe we'll invite Jen as well. Cool. So you can see it's checked those emails. It's one domain, 2 participants, and it's going to send those invites now. You can add more if you forget to add some, or you can even add a message. You can say, please join my project, and save message. And I'm going to invite participants. Cool. So Bluebeam Studio has sent an email invite to those attendees. So they should be able to check their email now, and something should come through where basically they'll be able to join into the project through there. And like I say, if you just want to share around the session ID or the project ID, sorry, to whoever wants to join in and needs to join in, you can do that as well. Cool, so that's how we invite users. I'm just going to switch back to my PowerPoint quickly. And so we've just got a little quiz question for everyone. If you want to chuck your answers in the chat box, the first person to answer correctly, we've got a little goodie box prize to send over to. So the first question, how many attendees can join a studio project? We've got A, 100, B, 300, C, 5,000, and D, unlimited. So if you want to chuck your answers in the chat box, we'll keep an eye out on those, and the first person to answer correctly will get a little prize that we'll reach out to you after to send over. Since we've got a few answers coming in, I'll let a few more people chuck them in. And awesome, great work to everyone who answered so far. Cool. So the correct answer is D, unlimited. So I think we've got, look, well, I want to pronounce this correctly. Lewis has answered correctly first. Well done to everyone. Most people did get it right, so well done. All right, let's jump back into the demo. So for all the users that you have in your project, we can set different permissions so that they can do different things. They might be able to check in and check out. They might be able to upload files. They could do a range of things. So to set permissions, we just go to the project settings in here. And you see there's two ones in here. So we've got user access, which tells you which users are in here. We've got permissions. So the permissions can be set by groups. So currently we've just got one group, which is attendees, but we can separate them into different groups if we want to, so that we can set different permissions. Like you could have, for example, project team A who needs full control of everything. They're uploading all the documents, but then you could have a contractor who needs to access the documents, but you don't want them to be able to download copies of them, or you don't want them to be able to invite other people. So you could set different permissions for those different teams. So basically to set the permissions is quite simple. We just go in here. If you set full control, that will just basically allow everything. If you want to just set the individual permissions, then you can just go through and set all of the different ones as you go. So for the purpose of today, I'm just going to allow everyone full control to this if anyone has joined in. Currently I can see we've got Just Tyres joined in. So yeah, he basically has full control to do everything that he wants to. And then there's also different folder permissions you can set as well once you've got folders in here. So you could have certain users only be able to do certain things with particular files as well, is the other option there. Right, so the next thing we're going to do is create some folder structures. So the idea is to set the project up so it's easy for everyone to navigate and easy to find your documents. So to upload folders and create folders, basically we just hit down here where it says new folder, or you can also do it up here where it says add. So once there's a folder in here, this part won't appear anymore. It'll just be up here through add. So we'll just go new folder. I'm just going to create 3 different folders. So one's going to be drawings, one's going to be specifications, and then one is going to be miscellaneous. Cool. So we've got 3 different folders there. We could also obviously go into those folders and create more subfolders as well if we need to as we create. So you could have basically, say for example in here we've got originals. Oops, I can't spell apparently. Let's just rename that and make it look a bit nicer. Cool. And then we can go and add another one, say revisions and so on and so forth. So you can have different subfolders. You'll see all of these folders are starting to populate on the left-hand side here as well. When we've got subfolders, we can drop down and go to those subfolders as well. And sort of navigate the project that way for a bit more simple rather than having to click into each one. All right, question number 2 time. So let me just jump back over here. So the question number 2 is what file formats are supported in Studio Projects? If you want to chuck answers in the chat box again. Cool. I've got a few answers coming in. Awesome. Good work, everyone. I believe we've got completely correct answers so far. And looking back, it looks like Alexander Carey was the first one to answer correctly. Well done. Cool. And I just think, I just saw a question up the top from Cyrus. What is the studio ID to join the project? Ty has just popped it in the chat box as well, if you want it there. I'll just jump back over to review. And you can also see the studio project ID is this one here. So 988863433. All right, so next part, we're just going to go through uploading files. There's 3 different methods of uploading files. The first way is to drag and drop. So I'm going to go into my specifications folder. What we're going to do is drag and drop from a folder that I've got on file here. All right, so I'm just going to bring this over here so you guys can see what I'm doing. So I'm going to bring the specifications file into here. So to do that, I could just drag and drop it. You'll see that that little box comes up, so you know that that's going to drag in, and that's going to start uploading. You'll see that little blue bar went across, and once it's done, it should appear with that little thumbnail, and you can set it to sync as well. I'm just going to upload some other files as well. So in the miscellaneous file, we're going to do it another method by going to upload files. And so I'm just going to go add in here and files. And I'm going to go find my file. Cool. So I'm just going to add in the profile that we want everyone to use when they're working on this project and my takeoff file. Obviously, these are in not just PDFs, they're in different file formats. I'm just going to hit open on those and OK. And you'll see those 2 start uploading as well. And then the last way is we're going to upload a whole folder. So we're going to go into this originals file here. Or actually, I'm just going to upload it in the drawings folder just as an example, and go through the add button here and upload a whole folder. So this one, I've got this folder here called plans, which has a few different PDFs in it of some different plans, and it's going to hit select folder. And you'll see that that uploads a new folder in there as well. And if I go into there, it should have my PDF documents in there. So that is how we upload files. I'm just going to check out this first floor reference plan. So I'm going to right click it and that's why, because there is no control. So we're just going to allow all. There we go. So you should have permission now, Ty, to check that out. All right, and I'm just going to check one out myself as well. So we're going to hit checkout. You should see it says in the pending files here. That means it's checked out. This little icon pops up the top here saying it's been checked out. And I can right click that and I can check it back in. I could download a copy. You can also replace a file. So if you have a new revision come in, you want to replace that file, you can do that. Yeah, we can also revert changes and that kind of stuff. So I am just going to check that back in. You can also open it up from here. It'll open up in split view next to your project. You'll see the way you know it's a checked out file and not a local file is this little icon up the top here. So there you can see that that's not a normal icon that would come up next to your PDF. That means it's a checked out file from your project. So we're just going to close that one down, and you'll see that this now pops up to check in. So I can put a comment in, markups made, for example, on section 1 or something like that. Obviously I didn't actually do anything, but for the example we say that. There's two things here, minor version and major version. Obviously you would select major version if you're uploading a new revision. A minor version would usually be something where you've just made markups or something like that. And then we're just going to hit check in. You'll go through, see it goes through and uploads it and checks it back in. So when I check the revision history now, we should see two different things here. So we've got the original from where I added it. You can see all the comments that come along with it as well. You see who's done it, what the date and time was that it was done, and then you also see the number and the version number. And then it gives you the comments and everything like that. So everything's nice and trackable. We can see basically what's happening with our file, what's happened over time. If we want to revert back as well, so let's say someone's changed something and we've decided we don't want that anymore, we can just restore a revision, or we can just open a revision to see what had happened on that revision as well. So if I just hit restore revision, it will go back and it actually gives me a new history, but it gives me the comment restored from revision 1. So it generates a new revision, but it just gives you the comment that that's been restored back. You see it close. So that is the revision history there. Just want to see if Tyre checked anything out that we can see. We can't, that's okay. All right. So that's what we have. That's basically Studio Projects in a nutshell there. It's really, really good to be able to manage your different project documents and that kind of stuff. It's a very lightweight document management system. It's not as full and sort of blown as what others are. But it's really, really easy to share and update your documents as you go. So I'm just going to jump. We'll leave it open to any questions. So if anyone has any questions, feel free to unmute yourself, ask them, drop them in the chat box, and we will answer them as best we can. Alrighty, I'm going to end it here, guys. Thank you very much for joining, and we'll hopefully see you at the next webinar.